Hello friends, and today we are going to discuss about install schema in Magento 2. Now, in Magento, whenever a person is going to install or upgrade a module, there may be certain database related changes that needs to be pushed into your database. That may be related with creating new columns or maybe pushing some data into database. Today we are going to discuss about this feature. When you create a module, Magento do provide you a process by which you can push your data into database or create your own table into database, or if a table is already created or you want to customize the core table, you can add columns into that table. If you see Magento's core module, which is module underscore customer, here you will see that there is a folder named as setup, and in setup folder we have install schema, we have upgrade schema, we have install data, upgrade data files. These four files are really very important, and as the name indicates, when the customer's module is installed, this file is triggered. When a upgrade is there for customer module, upgrade schema file is triggered. So we are going to create an install schema for our module today, and we'll see how this works. But install schema actually works only when your module is getting installed. So if you see, Litove module is already installed, so I'll go to my database and I'll first uninstall this module. There are a couple of ways to uninstall a module, but my personal favorite is to go made setup. This is your database prefix, setup underscore module table, and look for your module. Mine is on top. Just delete this row. So next time when you're going to perform a upgrade script, or when php bin magento setup colon upgrade command, then Magento will install this module, because prior to that command it checks if that entry exists into this table or not. If the entry is not available, install schema is triggered. If the entry is available but the schema version here is not similar to the version that your module has right now, then the upgrade schema is triggered, and so on. So this way we have uninstalled our module. Now I'll go to my code and I'll show you that I just created one folder named as setup. Okay, just to know that all the folders inside your module are started with first character as capital, apart from etc folder. Now in my setup folder I have created a install schema.php file. I have defined my namespace here, and there are three interfaces that we are going to use in this schema file. First is install schema interface, which is Magento's core, and then the setup schema and the module context. Here we are only going to use schema setup interface, and the context interface will be used in next lecture when we will be discussing about upgrade schema. But our install schema is actually going to implement this class of core. So and this class actually expects two argument. The function we are concerned about is install. It expects two arguments, so we are using these two here. Now when you are going to perform php bin artisan setup colon upgrade command, it performs two tasks. First task is it writes in config.php. The second task is it hits the setup folder, and inside that the file will be triggered depending upon your module's configuration. You are installing it or you are upgrading it or whatever you are doing. Now if I go to my Magento folder, then app, then etc, you will see that there is a config.php. so whenever you install your module's namespace come here, and against it there is a flag one set for your module. Okay, so we are going to run this command for our Magento's module, and now you see that our command is getting executed. Okay, it's completed. Now I deleted my module here, so I'll just refresh this table, and again my module is here, so it installed my module. Now I have to check that my install schema is triggered or not, and to check this I created a my table here. I'll first go to database and check that if that is created or not. Okay, yes, my table is created and the structure is as I created here. Okay, let's go into the code. And how this works is you create an install function in your Magento's install schema or your modules install schema, and you perform setup upgrade command. It writes in config.php and then it goes to your setup folder. Now if your module is getting installed, then it calls the install schema's install function. If your module is getting upgraded, then upgrade schema's upgrade function is called. Updates or upgrade, I'm not sure, we'll check in next lecture. And based on your install data or upgrade data, there may be similar functions getting called, but we will be considering only install function today. So in our install schema we have created one function named as install. The two interfaces that we have used here, these are the arguments for this function. And the setup interface schema actually contains the Magento setup and the communication that we are going to do with database, whereas context actually contains the information about our module. In our upgrade schema class we will be using this for getting the modules version, and in our setup, okay, here now in our install function we will be using this interface, and we'll start the setup function. We'll call start setup function, and in by using this setup further we'll connect to database using get connection, and our target is to create a new table named then we will be naming it as my table. And by add column function you can add any number of columns here. The first parameter here is the name of the column, the second parameter is the type, the third one is the length. It is not mandatory, but for type it's like 255, or otherwise it's null. In fourth parameter you can set other attributes and the indexes, and the fifth parameter is for the comment. Now I have added these two columns, my table ID and name, so these two were created in our database. And set comment, this is the comment for table. And now I'll connect now I'll get connection and create the table by passing this table variable into our create table function, and the setup ends here. So this is the very basic idea for install schema. And whenever you're going to hit a setup upgrade command, make sure that install schema will be executed only when your module is first time installed. If you are reinstalling your module, just go to setup module class and delete your modules code delete your modules row from here, and you're good to go. Okay, I'll re-hit it. And that was all for this lecture. We'll discuss upgrade schema in next lecture. Thank you.